Essex Business Radio.
Hi, it's Elliot Browne here, Essex Business Radio, and I'm here with a new friend of mine, I'm going to class it as, John Beamson from Robust Tours. How you doing, John?
I'm very well. Thanks for inviting me down. It was a great drive.
5 hours.
5 hours. Haven't been down south for a while. Did bring my passport. Wasn't sure what was what the procedure was, but no. All far so good. So thanks for having us on.
No, mate. Thank you very much for travelling. So long to get here. And you were one of the first people when I was sort of getting bedded in at Essex Business Radio and setting all this up. You were one of the first people to make contact, weren't you? And sort of say, I'd love to get on the show.
Yeah.
November time. We were talking about this a little while ago.
I think it's important. I listen to loads of Gary V.
Yeah.
And he's all about, if you want to be heard, go out and be heard.
Yeah.
No one's going to knock on my door.
No, that's right.
You were never going to come to me and knock on my door in Darton and say, "Oh, hey, John, do you fancy?"
I'd heard about your door.
Yeah.
I had knocked on it though. No.
So it's about getting yourself out there,
Yeah.
and it's about putting the work in to be heard.
Yeah.
So whenever there's an opportunity, and I'm offered an opportunity to come and promote myself and my business, I'll take it. I don't care if it's 15 hours away.
Absolutely.
Make the time.
Mate, I mean, I think it's great that you do that, and it's the only way to get yourself out there. If you're not going to willingly try, you're just the same as anybody else. It's a noisy world out there with different people doing different things. Well, your business is a little bit different from others, and we'll come back to that in a little while. But we've had a little chat before the show. Very interesting guy. You've got an interesting background, but you do your own podcast as well, right?
Yeah, Gary V. Start a podcast, and I did.
Yeah.
And I talked about it for probably 3 months. I'm going to start a podcast. And then it's like, why haven't I started this podcast yet?
Yeah.
So I just started it, and I'm sort of learning as I go on. And every time I do a show, I think, change that, do this, do this. And then I've had some unbelievable guests on. I've made some great new friends, some great new connections.
Yeah. And it's good for that, isn't it, to be honest? And it's funny because you actually start speaking to people you wouldn't have spoken to in your business sort of day-to-day wise, but you 100%. Do start having conversation. Would we have had conversation? Probably. And actually, there's probably things that we could probably do together as well. I mean, that's pretty cool, I love it.
It's 100%. The last sort of person I had on my show, he just survived breaking his ankle at 6,000 metres.
Wow.
And had to self-rescue himself off a mountain in the Himalayas.
Whoa.
And listening to that story, I was like, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's a way of approaching people and saying, oh, hello, would you like to come on the show?
Yeah.
I've got a podcast.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people open up to you.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And it breaks down that, even though in the world we live in now of social media, I feel like we've got the ability to be so social, but actually we're coming a little bit more.
Yeah, the thing with social media though, you appear to be social, but it isn't really always like that. Is there's a lot of sort of front, there's a lot of facade. With this, there's nowhere to hide, is there?
No, 100%. There's nowhere to hide. I find now with social media, Facebook, Instagram, with them being so heavily businesses now.
Yeah,
feeds are sort of. It's, you're scrolling through your feed, and what is that post that makes you stop and read it and then think about replying and liking and commenting?
Yeah.
We've got the ability to like and share, but actually across a lot of people's platforms, people aren't commenting or liking and sharing, but it's being seen, and it's like, well, it's never been so easy to connect with someone.
So easy, but to actually create something real though, I think it's way more difficult. To be honest, I think this is a good medium to do this, isn't it?
Yeah, podcasting's this, and there's loads of good podcasts out there. People talk about Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan might be at the very top of that.
Yeah.
But I like to sort of go out there and find that new up and coming podcast.
Yeah.
So, someone who's maybe started in the one bedroom and managing to get good people on and have got a good story, and definitely I'll be all over your podcast after this. 1000%.
Yeah, good.
Super impressed with the setup.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Thank you. We're quite proud of it. It works well. And it's comfortable. It's a nice atmosphere to be in,
lovely.
Isn't it? Excellent. Oh, good. That's a good start.
No, definitely.
So your background, John. I mean, robust tours. I don't want to talk. I know we'll talk about the business in a little while, and I want to know about you. That's the whole point of this fireside chat. Is sort of getting to know you. But robust tours is what? What do you call it? I always ask people this. What do you class yourself as? What is it that you do?
So I class myself as an accountability coach.
Okay, I like that.
I call myself the Ron Sill man because I do exactly what it says on the tin.
Okay.
Everything I offer, I've done.
Yeah.
There's far too many people for me in the world offering stuff that they couldn't do themselves.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, and I always that saying, the Ron Sill man. I used to have a sergeant major back in the day.
Right.
Proper old school sergeant major, and all he ever used to say, Monday to Friday, whatever time of the day, all you have to be in life is the Ron Sill man.
Yeah.
Right place, right time, right kit.
Yeah.
And the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And it's funny how little sayings like that can sort of stick with you.
Absolutely.
And now I say it to people all the time.
Yeah.
Just be a Ron Sill man.
But your accountability, in what way? Because you mentioned Army, obviously briefly there, and we're going to come to that because that's quite an interesting background. But so what is it that you do accountability-wise? Because this isn't. Anybody that's listening up to this point probably thinks you might be a business coach or accountability coach, but it's very, very different from that, yeah?
Yeah, no, being accountable, I say to people, accept your wins and accept your losses and accept the accountability, and whatever goes right is your fault, and whatever goes wrong is your fault.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, everything in life is much easier.
Yeah.
Because then you don't spend all your day looking for someone to blame.
Yeah.
And when I say to people accountability, when they come on my events, challenging outdoor robust events, I'm like, let's see where your accountability starts and ends.
Yeah.
And when you get tired, it's okay to get tired, but we don't stop when we're tired. We stop when we're done.
Yeah.
And it's a great.
Bloody wears me out talking to you, just thinking about it. Fucking hell. I mean, so before we get back to a bit of your history, right? So the people listening and watching know exactly what it is. Just talk us through something that you do with a group of people that is going to wear them out when they're listening to this and think about that. So what is it?
So there's loads of sort of generic challenges which people probably know or they've heard. Yorkshire Three Peaks, National Three Peaks.
There we go.
Things like that. I sort of class them as middle of the road.
Okay.
Like, if you're coming on them, that's a good start. But I've got harder events.
Okay.
And sort of I've got events which test people physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And we have an adventure. I absolutely hate the word walk.
Right.
It's completely banned from my ethos.
Okay.
And I have a 3-strike policy. If you say the word walk 3 times,
fuck off.
You're banned for the year. And I always say, no, it's not a walk. We're going on an adventure because anything could happen here.
I love it.
I'm in charge of what I'm in charge of.
It's more intriguing that way as well, isn't it, to be fair?
100%.
Yeah.
I get people messaging me, sort of, as you do, I'm interested in this walk. And I've replied to people saying, sorry,
we don't do walks.
You've got the wrong page. I think Billy's Ramblers are going out on Sunday. But it's not with me.
No.
And it's like... No. All right, I thought you did walking. Not here.
Not here. That's next door.
and then
on his door.
And then when people come out and they experience it, and it's full, and we go full chat. Like I created this thing called the 10-minute microwave,
right?
Which is where for 10 minutes we just throw it all at the wall,
right?
And I don't care how fit you are. It's like everyone has to go bananas,
right?
Like full microwave. And at the end, everyone's like bent over.
Full microwave? Where the fuck does that come from?
Again, it's a military thing.
Is it?
So we used to have a PTI.
Yeah.
He'd be always like, 10-minute microwave, gents. Which just basically meant for 10 minutes, you were getting annihilated.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was just about who can roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And like I always say to people, my hanging out my ass is the same as you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the level of fitness.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I'm prepared, when it gets ugly, I'm prepared just to stay ugly with it.
Yeah.
And not give up.
Yeah.
And not call it in.
Yeah.
And just keep on fighting through. And I'm like, so many people come on the adventures and learn so much about themselves.
Yeah.
And I always say, when you say to me, I'm knackered, I guarantee you there's another 10%.
easy.
It's always 10% more.
There's always been a little bit more. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into that, because I do want to know about the business, I think it's very, very interesting, and I think it's different. And in fact, I definitely want to be taking up some of your challenges, which I want to fucking challenge myself.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? But yeah, so we mentioned the army.
Yeah.
We go back to the army days.
Yeah.
Before the army days, though, what were you like? What were you like at school? What on earth got you into going into the army in the first place? What was it that you did that sort of that got you involved?
I think I didn't do great at school.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia officially.
Okay.
And I sort of always struggled, and I come out with sort of bang average sort of grades.
Yeah.
So.
And would you say? I mean, am I allowed to mention your age?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you're a few years younger than me, but you're late 30s.
Yeah, 36.
So dyslexia back in the day. I mean, even then was still it's been a little bit of a stigma.
Yeah,
it was still a bit of a
100%.
He's fucking stupid. Not so much as in there's an issue and they want to address it. So you sort of that got missed out, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all that did was it built character.
Absolutely. Yeah. For some, not for everybody, but for you definitely. Yeah.
But 100%, it built character and sort of it makes you become very crafty because you don't want to be singled out. You don't want to be reading out loud in class.
Yeah.
And there sort of was teachers who I personally think got a bit of a kick out of it, who would sort of say,
"Oh, really?
Oh, John, you're doing the first paragraph," and you're like, "Motherfucker!" He knows I can't read. He's threw me under the bus here, and the fittest girl in the class is behind me.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long recovery. But again, you can use it as an excuse to why you're not going to get somewhere, or you can just go, "So what?
Yeah,
I'm slightly, I'm not great at that, but I'll be better at something else."
Yeah,
and I think there's some fairly fit entrepreneurs who are dyslexic who hasn't stopped them. So, I think I just went, all right, I'm dyslexic, but I'm joining the army anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah,
and the army was always the focus, but in true sort of Beamson fashion, it didn't go to plan. I turned up the first year and again build character. I walked into the recruiting office and I was probably a little bit more rotund,
right, okay,
than I probably should have been.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I sort of remember the recruiting sergeant saying, "McDonald's is down the street, mate." What was that? No, I've come to join the army. Nah.
Oh, really?
What was that?
So what were you weighing in at then?
I don't know. I was probably just a little bit of a chubby kid. Do you know what I mean? I don't sort of remember looking back and was it proper beef or was it proper?
Yeah. But you look back at pictures and you sort of can see it.
Yeah, I think so. He let me sort of go through the process, and then I went for an assessment, and I had asthma as a kid, and I sort of failed one of the sort of key tests.
Oh, really?
And it sort of leveled me.
Ah.
And sort of failed it, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to come back in a year's time, and you're gonna have to sort of get fitter," which actually wasn't too bad. Went to college, did a sports sciencey thing, just did whatever.
Yeah.
And then went back again, and it was like a peak flow thing.
Yeah.
And the previous year, I think I'd failed by a few points, and I went back the second time, and I failed by 1 point.
Oh, really?
1 point, and you know what they did? They went, "Come back in a year's time."
No.
2 years on the bounce, failed the same test, went back home, had a cry, felt sorry for myself.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, is it all over for me? And my dad was like, "Welcome to life, son.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to get upset."
Yeah.
So I joined a running club, and I ended up getting absolutely terrorised fit, and went back the third year.
That's some determination, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, that was some serious determination.
Yeah, I was on first name terms with the nurse when I went back.
She wasn't the one that sat behind you, was she?
Coming in, John. And then the third year, I just blew it off the scale, and so I did one of the.
So did a world of good at that sort of in a weird
100%.
way. If you hadn't have done that third year, would you have been as fit to start off in the same mind frame?
If I'd have passed in the first year, I wouldn't have got through basic training because I wouldn't have been mentally strong enough to survive.
So preparation.
This man's army, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. I'm going to find out a little bit more about the army in a minute after this very short break. Hi again after that short break. Elliot here, Essex Business Radio, here with John Beamson from Robust Tours. All the way down from, where is it you come down from? 5 hours away?
The Big Apple, Darlington.
The Big Apple.
as we like to call it.
So we're talking about the army. So how many years were you in the army, mate?
I served 10.
Okay.
I spent my first sort of regiment, I was posted to Germany.
Yeah.
And that was an eye opener. Just finished sort of phase 1 and phase 2 training, and it was like, oh, you're going to Germany? When?
Oh, okay.
Oh, like now. Here's a real warrant, and here's a flight.
Oh, right.
You expected in your unit.
Right.
Like, right. Wow.
Okay.
And it
Whereabouts were you in Germany?
Osnabrück.
Right.
So obviously the army had a large contingent from obviously previous conflicts and all that sort of carry on. And as a sort of young 19-year-old lad on his own travelling to Germany, you know, it was like the greatest command task. Get from Lark Hill to Osnabrück by tomorrow, or you get charged for being late.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Is that what he did?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's your real warrant. You expected tomorrow, sort of thing. And
I'm assuming you got there in time.
Yeah, I got there, and you know, you're joining this man's army, and there's a lot of growing up to do very quickly.
Yeah.
And you know, not only you're leaving your home, but you're moving to Germany. At the time, Deutschmark was still in, so it was new currency.
Yeah.
And you're sort of just thinking, what's going to happen now? But I was very lucky because when I joined, there was an opportunity to go to Kenya, like pretty much straight away.
Okay.
And my first thought was like week in the regiment. The battery sergeant major, who was like sort of middle management, should we say?
Yeah.
Basically said, "Does anyone here want to go to Kenya?" And I was like,
"Yeah, why not?"
Yep. Yes, please.
Yeah.
And joined a gun detachment, so an artillery gun detachment.
Yeah.
And sort of did 8 weeks in Kenya around sort of the desert and in the jungle and
nice.
Just, you know, doing what you should be doing in war.
Yeah. Which you wouldn't have been doing in Germany, would you?
They sort of run training exercises and stuff, but that whole thing of going again to another continent,
country, and continent, yeah, for sure,
different environment.
Yeah. I bet that sort of opened your eyes a little bit.
Yeah,
didn't it?
massive growing up. There's no time for.
Had you done much travelling before that in your teens? I mean, with family and stuff, holidays. Had you gone to many places, or was that
Salou?
Oh, really? Okay.
Like your generic sort of Spanish.
Yeah.
Once a year holiday.
So that's totally different.
Yeah, totally different to going with the British Army to Kenya.
Yeah.
Kenya was a great experience because as a young lad out there, you have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Like the army will look after you, but there's a lot of growing up, and you build a lot of sort of good bonds and a lot of camaraderie. And you know, being out, we had live ammunition. There was obviously hostile wildlife.
Right.
We're out in sort of the desert.
Hostile wildlife. Is that what you class them as?
Yeah, very hostile.
Right.
Especially sort of the snakes and the spiders.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
There's always a chance.
I was going to take the piss a bit then, but you can see that. No, like hostile fucking spiders coming at you with guns.
Yeah, there's some tasty wildlife, but as well, obviously there's always been elements of terrorism around the world long before.
Of course.
Well, obviously 9/11 had happened before that point.
Yeah.
And you know there was a threat of terrorism whilst we were there, so we wore live ammunition.
Right.
And as a young lad to be given a rifle, live ammunition.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm playing in the big leagues now. So it was an interesting time.
Right.
Super hot down on the equator. Sort of got through that with no sort of major incident.
Mm-hmm.
Came home, 2 or 3 weeks in the regiment, and then Canada.
Right.
Was really lucky in a short period of time.
Straight over. Right.
Straight over to Canada.
Extreme temperature there. From that to Canada, which assuming was pretty cold in the winter time.
Well, we did Kenya. Sorry, we did Kenya in January to sort of end of February.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to Canada sort of May and June.
Oh, wow.
And going to Canada as like a young single lad.
Yeah.
Everyone thought you like James Bond. And we sort of got R&R in Edmonton.
Right.
And Edmonton's got like a big famous mall. And we were just
Edmonton,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not like the Edmonton down here, Enfield.
No, I don't think it's the same one. And but it was sort of again a new place, new environments. We got to do R&R.
I mean, that's a proper rammed in like some real extreme different sort of.
It was what the training
experiences.
It was what the training videos said you did in the army.
Yeah. So
my expectations of joining the army was, I'm just going to constantly be sort of away all the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I grew up so quick in my first year in the regiment.
I can imagine.
Do you remember the fireman strikes? Do you remember the early 2000s when all the firemen went on strike over pay and conditions?
Yeah.
Well, sort of we got, after we come back from Canada, we had sort of summer leave, and then the fireman strikes kicked off. And because my regiment recruited from the northeast, we had to cover the northeast.
Right.
So as a regiment, we went back to where we were all from.
Yeah.
To cover the fireman strikes. And do you remember the green goddesses? Do you remember them old school fire trucks?
Yeah, of course I do.
We had to retrain.
Right.
And become firemen.
Right.
And I was like, in the space of a year.
So were these ones with the big show with water cannons?
Yeah. And like they were sort of, I think they were from like the 1940s. Like
of course they were. Yeah.
And before we knew it, we were
using them in riots, or is that the right?
No, we were just covering the fires.
But they used those in riots. Yeah, that sort of thing.
We were like on the streets putting out fires, and I was like, this is the greatest job in the world. I've gone from Kenya, Canada, and now I'm like this pseudo fireman running around, not really knowing what he's doing, putting out fires. I was like, the army's living up to sort of expectations. And again, it's like, as a young man, it's like you've got all these sort of, everyone in the regiment I was in, there was always like these alpha male figures.
Yeah.
And it was always like very ultra competitive, very sort of like hard hitting, sort of in your face. You've got to be the best.
Yeah.
There's, there was no sort of time for feelings.
Yeah.
I believe the army's sort of changed now.
Right.
And I don't know, elements will be for the better, but elements won't be for the better, because end of the day, all of that training that I did at that point sort of led me to go to Northern Ireland. My first tour was Northern Ireland. And even though at the time Northern Ireland was sort of really, really on the downturn and it was peaceful, we were still patrolling the streets with live ammunition. We'd still gone over there to do...
Which was when? So we're talking...
2002, 2003.
Yeah, okay.
We were stationed in Londonderry, and it's sort of, we closed down the barracks there.
Right.
And we went there as public order battalion, so for rioting season.
Right.
And we were just on standby for the police, but sort of, the history of Northern Ireland, the IRA, and sort of you as a young man, sort of, everyone was sort of from the same background, council estate.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of had a similar story, and you're patrolling the streets, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's real.
Yeah.
And you sort of never knew what to expect, even though you were always told, oh, it's quiet now, and everyone's sort of playing the game, and whatever it takes is just one incident, and things flare up, and you probably, when people are not expecting it, you get lethargic, complacent, and I think that's when things can take a turn.
But you'd obviously got. I mean, the year leading up to you joining the army, when you decided to get fit and stuff, which was quite a good lead up. I'm assuming you sort of fell in love with that, hence sort of getting you to where you are now. But fell in love with that sort of stamina and the fitness side of things. Yeah, I mean, how did that happen? I mean, was it?
I was a fat lad that got fit.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fit lad that got fat.
Yeah.
So.
Which is me.
Being fit in basic training is the greatest godsend ever. Yeah. Because being fit in overall life
starts you off well, though, doesn't it? It must have been in basic training to start off being fit already. Yeah. Puts you a step ahead of a few people that are there, I'm assuming.
Your fitness is so important. Because the moment you get there, when we sort of got to Purbright was where I did my basic training. You arrive Purbright, you get picked up by the sort of corporals. They're not nice to you.
Yeah.
They're not your friends.
Yeah.
There's no handshakes. There's no have you come far, mate. There's none of that.
Yeah.
It's just like name, right? Stand there, don't speak.
Yeah.
Get in the minibus.
Yeah.
Get out the minibus. There's your room.
That's how you did that.
It's really hard. So like it's a 12-week process, and it takes you it sort of takes a lot away from you at first, because they want to see who's who.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line. There's a fine line between bullying and character building.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now, some people may watch a program and think that's bullying.
Yeah.
But I've been to war. Like, I've done that, and we'll come on this later, but I've been to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And trust me, what happened to me in early 2000, I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
Because what happens here in a place like Afghanistan, you know, that is the truth right there. And it's a fine line, and I don't know where the army's at the moment because I've been removed from it for a long time.
Sure.
But pats on the back and big handshakes and smiles.
It's not going to do you any good, is it?
Doesn't do you any good when it's time to get messy.
Yeah.
And that period of, you know, corporals, people shouting at you, people swearing at you, people's trashing your room, people, it forces you to bond with the other lads who are coming through the process with you. Because at the end of the day, a unit of 35 lads working together is an extremely efficient team.
Yeah.
And the DS, once you bond, they can't break a team of 35.
Right.
When you're an individual, you can be got at and you can be broken down, but when everyone's pulling in the direction that they want you to go,
you know you've got somebody who's got your back and you've got their back, and
you can't be beaten.
Yeah.
And for me personally, passing out was like probably one of the proudest moments of my life as a young man, to march on the parade square. My parents come down, everyone's wearing the finery, you've got your number 2 dress on.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're joining the British Army. Yeah. And the British Army has always carried like this real sort of elitist sort of we are the best. You know, we've had a few tear-ups over the years, and we've always done well.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like I've joined the club. I've joined the. You know, I'm proud to say that I was a member of the armed forces, and it was a great experience.
And I must taught you a huge amount as well. I mean, you know, being regimental, you know, having rules, and having that sort of that drive as well to keep going when others would stop, I suppose, is good for business, isn't it? I mean, let's face it.
It's great for business, but you have to adapt it.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've realised is sometimes forces people, we can be too direct.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's good in business.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not good in business.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to find that sort of nice middle ground. Definitely be you, but there's definitely times where, like, I know, I've got to pull it back a bit here because it's getting a bit too strong.
Sure. And
other times I think, I'm releasing the hounds.
Yeah.
I mean, we go full bore.
You enjoyed it though, did you? You enjoyed that during the army? Was there some times that were difficult? I mean,
yeah, there was. I mean,
obviously Afghanistan, obviously quite clearly difficult.
Yeah, the first Afghanistan was our Vietnam.
Yeah,
it was like the Wild West.
Yeah,
and when we went there, we sort of went there. We were never the best equipped army.
Yeah.
But we were the more sort of motivated, most fit, and more switched on.
Right.
And that could always sort of plug the gaps for poor equipment.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan was an environment like no other. Talk about like hostile environment, hostile population.
Yeah.
Hostile. Sort of, again, animals, insects.
Yeah.
Some of the worst.
Pretty
camel spiders.
Generally pretty fucking hostile.
If no one knows what a camel spider is, you need to Google it because I
will be Googling that in a minute when we take a quick break. But
we had to bayonet them. Honestly, they were
really.
Yeah, we'd find them down the gym on the squats.
How big are they?
They can grow to the size of your hand.
Really?
Yeah, they're a tasty.
I've never even heard of them.
Wait until we Google it. You'll be like,
I will do.
I think they took the inspiration for aliens from them. They're an ugly.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're an ugly looking bit.
Wow, I'm gonna check that out. I think I'm encouraging everybody to check that out in this quick break we're just about to have, and then we're going to find out what happened when you left the army and after that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent. We're back again. Elliot Browne, Essex Business Radio, here with John Beamson from Robust Tours. John, that was pretty interesting. I mean, there's a few things there that we'll keep between us, but we did look up the camel spider. That looks fucking lethal, and the stories you were saying then about having to knock them out of your boots and things like that. So where I was laughing when you were saying about what was the word when you were talking about and I said about a gun. Hostile. Yeah. Hostile. That's the word. Shit. That's hostile. So you're right. I mean, obviously this was when we're talking in the break, but you've got enemy, you've got weather, you've got bloody spiders and not spiders. They're like a scorpion, for God's sake, aren't they? You know, I mean, there's some lethal shit going on.
Everything in Afghanistan
was out to get you.
Was out to get you.
Yeah.
And us lads from the Western world to go to that environment.
Yeah.
We might as well have been on Mars.
Yeah.
And it was a case of adapt, and unfortunately, it is real, adapt or die.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, the British Army is the most adaptable army in the world, and that's why we thrive in hostile environments, no matter where they are.
Yeah.
It's because of the training that we endure.
Yeah.
Teaches us that the word robust, that's what it means. You can adapt to your environment.
Is this where you got the name from then? Is it like the robust side of things?
It's someone who I met in my time in the army. It was a lieutenant, and that's all he ever used to say. Fucking robust guys. Gotta be robust guys.
Yeah.
Gotta be robust.
Yeah.
And actually robust means, well, to me, it doesn't mean you're the fittest, most skilled. It means
but you just mean you're able.
You're just enabled to endure whatever is thrown at you.
Yeah.
You can just endure it.
Yeah.
And that's why in these environments we can adapt, and actually we can hold our own against. And hats off to the Taliban, man. They're hard as fuck.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I genuinely could literally talk all day about those experiences, because I'm intrigued. It's so very, very different from from everybody. I don't think we appreciate quite what you go through, and I've just learned a lot in the last sort of 15 minutes while we were sort of off air in essence, really. So when you sort of left there armed with a completely different outlook on life than you started off with, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I did I don't want to get bowed down in Afghanistan, but I did 2 Afghan tours. The first one was very different to the second.
Right.
But Afghanistan changed me for the better and the worst.
Okay.
And certainly the period after leaving was difficult, because Afghan and that sort of warfighting environment changes every man, woman, human being that comes involved with it.
Yeah.
There's no way you went there one guy and you came back a different guy.
Yeah.
And it sort of took me, the decompression process has taken me a long time to get back to a level now where I'm not touch paper.
Right.
Where if something said to me, I don't just fly off the handle.
Yeah.
So though it's a great experience to go through, it does change you in the worst ways, and you have to be able to speak to people and talk about your experiences and to learn from them and ultimately to grow from them and accept what happened and to move on.
Yeah.
So no, it's
So you left how many years ago did you leave the army?
Where are we at now? 2020.
2020.
Yeah, happy New Year.
2020. This is the first one of the year. First show we're doing of the year.
So
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah. 2000. I think I've been gone 8 years now, and sort of leaving the army. There's a great concept, but it's delivered poorly.
Yeah.
So the resettlement process is like nothing you would ever get in the civilian sector. Maybe some sort of gardening leave. Maybe if you're a sort of high-end chief exec, you get a payoff.
Yeah.
But sort of every person that does service accumulates what you call a resettlement sort of bonus bounty.
Okay.
The more you do, the more you're getting money in time off to train.
Okay.
So in concept, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's delivered poorly, because what happens is training providers and other people find out there's a pot of money to get.
Okay.
So it becomes, at one point everyone was leaving to sort of go and work offshore.
Yeah.
And there was like, I'm going to go and be offshore, I'm going to be a rigger, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that.
Yeah. Security as well.
Security, telehandlers. I mean, at one point, I think when I got out, like 1,000 blokes got out to be a telehandler, and I was like,
what's a telehandler?
Exactly. I was like, what the fuck's a telehandler? But everyone was getting out to do it, and instead of there being sort of someone actually saying, no, let's manage it, guys. Like, some people are going to get, there's always going to be that one or two that get exceptional jobs and they do exceptionally well.
Of course, yeah.
But majority of people are going to end up back in the grind.
Yeah.
And we need to prepare you better for that.
Yeah.
Than giving you a fucking head full of mushrooms and saying, oh yeah, you're going to be on £35-40 an hour. You know, I mean, remember when I was leaving, I was like, bloody hell, I'm going to be loaded here.
Yeah.
Transferable skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being able to kill another human being isn't a transferable skill.
Not an everyday anyway. No,
it's not an everyday job.
No. So how long did it take you to sort of get
So...
Because you didn't start the business immediately.
No. So when I left, I tried to join the nuclear constabulary.
The nuclear constabulary.
So basically they're in charge of
nuclear.
Basically the police force for the nuclear, like Sellafield and those sort of places. They protect places like that.
Okay.
So the process was really, really long. And I had this sort of opinion, like,
where the hell do you think hear that from? Was that sort of leaving?
It was sort of part of like there's loads of different sort of trade fairs and sort of career fairs, and people were like, oh, you should join a nuclear constabulary. It's like 30 grand, 35 grand a year, and I was like, oh, 35 grand a year, brilliant. I'll have a bit of that. You know, you sort of already thinking, oh, I'm going to buy me a new car.
Yeah.
You haven't even got a job.
Yeah.
And you sort of sleepwalk through the process of a year. You sign off, you see, and then you've got a year to sort your life out.
Right.
And you think, oh, yes, loads of time, actually.
That goes pretty quickly.
It goes by.
Yeah.
And anyway, I did the sort of online stuff and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I didn't get it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, I'll just get another 35 grand a year job. Well, they're like hen's teeth.
Right.
Unless you've got a certain set of skills.
Yeah, for sure.
To get. And sort of got out. And my dad always used to say, work comes to people in work.
Uh-huh.
Don't be unemployed.
Yeah.
So take the first thing you get. And it doesn't matter if you take a few different jobs. Just take the first job.
Yeah.
So, right, Bosch, straight out, what do you do? Agency.
Yeah.
Says Bosch, straight. I had all my driving licences. And I had my ADR, so dangerous goods licence.
Okay.
So, straight to an agency. Bosch, fresh out the army.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, can you start, like, now? Yeah. So, luckily I got a job for Calagas.
Right.
Sort of delivering bottle gas to sort of burger vans and DIY and caravan sites.
Uh-huh.
And I was sort of like out on my own for a few months just delivering bottle gas, and I thought, oh, well, this is all right, isn't it?
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Just driving a little truck and
delivering bottles of gas.
Got me trucker's cap and me Yorkie bars. And
Yeah. Does that come with the job, did it?
Yeah, well, you have to you have to accept the role, don't you?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
And sort of then I was applying for other jobs, and I thought, my dad's right, because I'm getting offered interviews.
Yeah.
For other jobs, and I'm in jobs, so I'm not.
That's life for you, though, isn't it?
That's life.
If you sit around waiting for things, it doesn't happen. You've got to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen, and more happens.
Yeah, and then I sort of got offered a better job at a reputable tanker company in Teesside.
Right.
Sort of semi-large family-run business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he was like, "Oh, this is the money, and this is the job," and
yeah.
I was like, oh, chase the money.
Yeah.
So I left Calagas, got a job there on a tanker company, sort of all over the UK at this point. So I'm like sleeping in the truck and living the full trucker's life.
Yeah, sure.
With the trucker's life comes a trucker's body. So
okay, so you put that weight back on again that you'd lost.
Yeah, I put quite a bit of timber on.
Yeah.
And just really got into that lifestyle, and sort of like once a novelty had gone of earning like semi-decent money for the role.
Yeah.
I was like, is this it? Is this the ceiling? Because I can't really see where I'm going to go from here.
Right. So you've been, and how long have you been out at that stage?
I think I've been out maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
The novelty of getting a semi-decent car had sort of worn off.
Yeah.
I'd had like a decent holiday in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, do I really want to be sleeping in a lorry?
Yeah.
Not really. Sort of, I ended up quitting that job because I hadn't learned to manage myself properly and conduct myself. I was very sort of aggressive.
Right.
And very what's the word?
Because you don't come across as aggressive at all now.
And I've dialed it right back. I've changed. But at the time, I was very confrontational.
Right.
With people.
Yeah.
And if
still
I felt,
left over from the summer army days.
Yeah.
I'm assuming,
and whenever I thought someone had wronged me, I was like, I have to let him know.
Yeah.
That I'm the kiddie.
Yeah.
And I'm not having it.
Yeah.
But when it's the owner of the business, and you're just the bod.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we sort of parted ways. I ended up sort of again back on agency, just sort of boshing around.
Right.
And then another large company had asked me in for an interview, and they said, "Oh, we want to offer you this 4 on 4 off shift pattern." And I was like, "Oh, so like I'd never heard of it before."
Oh, what?
4 days on.
Okay, 4 days off. Okay, shift.
And I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, right, cool."
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Oh, so I work 4 days and I get 4 days off?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "What's the money?" He told me. I was like, "What the hell? That's all right."
Yeah.
So again, I was in trucking, so I did that.
Okay.
And I loved it. Like 4 days off. I was like, I was going on my days off. I was going to all the coffee shops, reading the Guardian, and thinking,
living the dream.
Just living the dream. People are, who's this lad just in here at 12 o'clock reading the Guardian?
I've got 4 days off, mate. I mean, fucking
4 days off.
What are you saying?
And I didn't have really any goals.
Yeah.
I just thought, I've made it. This is class.
I've made it.
I've got 21 days holiday.
Yeah.
I'm working. Technically, I'm working half the year.
Yeah.
The money's good. Deal.
Yeah.
Deal. I was still sort of a little bit too confrontational, but I thought I'm on a good number here.
Yeah.
Let's
just roll with it.
Let's not rock the boat.
Yeah.
But this is where sort of the hike came from.
Okay.
So I was a friend of mine. He organised the national 3 peaks: Ben Nevis, Snowdonia, and Scarfell Pike.
Okay.
And someone had dropped out, and he'd said to me, like sort of 2 weeks before the event.
What size were you? Were you a bit rotund at this stage? Were you?
I was fatter than butter. And he was like, John, do you want to come on this? Blah blah blah. You only have to pay like whatever it was. And I was like, oh yeah, go on then. I'll have a crack.
Yeah.
So we go on it and we do Ben Nevis, and I'm fucking hanging out my ass.
I bet.
But the military man inside of me, is like, do not be last.
Yeah.
We can be middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But under no circumstances do we come last. So I'm hanging out, right? Proper hanging out.
But you're still going.
But I'm still going. So the guy who ran the event,
I've got this picture of this sort of a larger person, you look like you in a fat suit, basically. There's the mind's there.
So at that time I must have been about 98 kilos, so probably 10 kilos heavier than I am now.
Wow.
So we do Ben Nevis, and we're coming down off Ben Nevis, and the guy who ran the event, I was like, oh, so what do you do for a living, Chris? And he's like, I do this. I was like, you do this? I was like, well, like, I didn't know at the time. I was like, so what is this? He's like, oh, I'm a mountain leader.
Right.
I was like, all right. So you just do this every weekend? And he's like, yeah. I was like, fucking, that's like it was a sunny day and it was awesome. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I need to. I was like, all right, yeah. So as the event goes on, I'm sort of picking his brains. And as we're coming from down off Snowdon, I was like, Chris, what does it take to become a mountain leader, mate? Like, what do I have to do? Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, give us a ring, John, next week. And then looking back, what he was really saying is, I can't be fucking asked to answer this question. Yeah. Because I get it every week. Yeah. From someone. From somebody. So if you ring me next week. Some other fat lad. Yeah. the fancy's doing something different. So if you ring me next week, I'll tell you, because obviously he's a follow up. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm fucking interested in it. So I did. I rang him next week. Okay. And then he was like, well, what you have to do, mate, you've got to register with the MLA Mountain Association. And then you've got to get all these sort of days in the hills, and you've got to book your training. Okay. And I just did it. So a bit like flying, you've got to get your hours in, basically. Yeah. You've got to get your hours and your skills in. Yeah. So you experience, I suppose, yeah. So I booked my training, and I used my 4 days off to actually start doing shit. Oh, so did you? Stop going to the coffee shops and reading the Guardian. Yeah, yeah. and all them sort of tabloid newspapers and all that. And I actually started doing shit. Wow. And so if it wasn't for your mate saying that, I wouldn't have done it. You could still be driving trucks 4 days on, 4 days off. Yeah, I could still be. Isn't that funny how that one chance thing sparked that thing in you again, and sort of got you out your fat suit? Yeah, for want of a better description. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah, and that is the reason. So yeah. Class. Well, listen, we're going to come back after a very short break, and want to know about the business, because I think we're probably going to have another couple of breaks, and we'll come back to this in a minute. That was like a fucking shit, wasn't it? Just cut it off there. We are back again. It's Elliot Browne here, Essex Business Radio, here with John Beamson. John, are you enjoying this? It's only a podcast when it's downloadable. So at the moment it's a chat show. But are you enjoying the chat show podcast? Yeah, no, it's it's great. It's good stuff. This is really interesting. I think we've really sort of covered that journey in a way, haven't we? You know, and so mountain leader then. So you've gone from coffee shops and into sort of training yourself in essence, I suppose. So sort of I go through the mountain leader process, and I found a great instructor, a guy called Paul Pull Mountaineering, down in North Wales. And
that was his name. That was actually his name, Mountaineering.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, it should be. That's his plug.
Yeah.
And I sort of go through the process with him, and then it sort of takes me a year from training to assessment.
So this is what? How many years ago? How many?
I think I'm in my second year of training. Probably 4 years since the whole process started.
Okay.
So I'm on it. I feel like I'm on it. I feel like this is what I was
You're
designed.
back to you've sort of all doors have led to this.
Yeah, everything's led to this, and I'm taking my own little cohorts out in the northeast, and we're going on all these adventures, and I'm coming up with all these ideas.
Yeah,
and
you're charging for this now.
No.
So you're just taking people out, and you're getting that experience.
So I'm just using it as an experience to sort of lead people, friends.
Yeah, and to get feedback, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, to come up with ideas, and sort of we were always going on these sort of robust adventures.
Yeah.
It was always like robust.
Yeah.
And then sort of the word out, it sort of came around like this, like, oh, what sort of robust tour are we going on this week?
Yeah.
And I was like, say that again?
Yeah.
And
it works.
Robust tours.
Yeah.
And I was like, robust tours.
Yeah.
I was like, I love it.
And was that when it sort of the light bulb switched on? It's like I've actually know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's it. And I was like, right, that's the name of the business there.
It's a lot of years of lots of different experiences to get you to that stage to get that clarity, isn't it? You know.
And I'd sort of been on other people's.
Have you been on stuff that's similar to what you do?
Nah, because no one can do what I do.
Right, I like that. Oh, I love, and the way you looked at me then, I'm like, that's confident.
Like I mentioned before the show, I did someone else's event yesterday.
Yeah.
And sort of at the lunch break.
On a Sunday, can't tell us what you did on a Sunday.
So on a Sunday, I did someone else's event.
Yeah.
Great event.
Quite not as good as yours.
Yeah. Hats off to them. It was a great event. And
very, very, very good. See, he's going to listen to this. I've heard it was amazing.
Yeah. So because I'm like Uber the guy.
Yeah.
I thought, right, I need to go let the hunters know that I'm the kiddie.
Yeah.
So the hunters are having the lunch.
Yeah.
So I go into their little cabin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hey guys, just want to say I'm enjoying it so far, but like, what time is the hunting starting? Because like, I'm here for a challenge. Like.
Yeah.
And like, people don't do that anymore.
Right.
People are frightened to sort of say, oh, by the way, I'm the kiddie. Just so you know.
Explain what the kiddie is, because this is quite clearly a northern. I know what it is, but you're the man. Basically.
It means It means I am. That,
see, I would if it was me. I'd be like, when we going? Well, let's stop fucking about.
Yeah, and this is what I try to instill into people. Like, go somewhere, kick the door off the hinges, and let them know that you're here.
Yeah.
And say, oh, by the way, if you didn't know, I'm here.
I fucking love that.
And I've come to take some names.
Yeah.
And it got a rise from people. Yeah. And when I say, like, the events I run, no one else runs them, because no one else can run them. Yeah. Because I would just say, how do you run an event that you can't physically do yourself? Yeah. It's illegitimate.
Same when people are trying to teach anybody anything, though, isn't it? If you haven't done it yourself, how the hell can you tell people how to do something?
And obviously I know I came up with all these events, and then sort of you start speaking to people and thinking about business and marketing and USP and like, what am I going to do to stand out? Yeah. And a friend of mine, guy called Dave Ector, who's an absolute legend, he was like, oh, the last photo shoot you did was class, John, but what's next, mate? What are you going to do next? He's like, it'd be great if you got like a tiger or something. I was like, Dave, where am I going to get a tiger from? I'm like, I can get shit done, but
I can get a cat.
But and he's like, oh, well, what about like some sort of like animal related to the mountains? Yeah. And he's like, what about an eagle? I was like, fucking hell, an eagle. I was like, yeah. So where'd you get an eagle from? Yeah. So I was like, right, Instagram. And I thought, bird aviaries, bird of prey sanctuaries. Yeah. And there was one local to me about 35, 40 minutes away, and I thought, this is a necky phone call. So I phoned them up. Oh, hiya, blah, 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 John Beamson. I own an outdoor venture company called Robust Tours, and I'm starting to want to do a photo shoot with a bit of a difference. Yeah. could I bring a photographer and get a photo with an eagle?
Yeah.
And sort of, is that okay? And I'd, obviously, what's the price?
Uh-huh.
And in my mind, I had like, she's going to want like 500 quid.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, just come down and, you know, make a donation.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, a donation, right, yeah. I was like, all right. So I'd sort of set 500 quid aside.
Yeah.
So we turned up on the day with a photographer, got my t-shirt, got
Yeah.
me, you know, look the kiddie, and go in and see her, and she's like, oh yeah, so if you just like to make a donation, I was like, all right, she went, oh, it's just in the tin, and I was like, oh, it's 50 quid, all right, and she was like, oh, 50 quid, yeah, oh no, that's fine, yeah, it's brilliant, thanks very much. It's like,
You got it
oh,
touched.
450 quid in it.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It's like, I'd have paid 500 quid if you'd have said it.
Yeah.
But you've got to know your own value, haven't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we get this awesome video of the eagle. I've got my arm out,
Yeah.
and the eagle flies from one side of the aviary and lands on my arm.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I was like, wow, and get some awesome still photos of me and the eagle.
Yeah.
And then I just started calling myself the eagle. And like,
As you do.
as you do.
Yeah.
And now literally,
Do people know you?
people know me.
Are
as-
you the eagle?
People know me as the eagle.
Really?
And like, it has become.
Have I got to call you the eagle?
No, you don't. But like, people, like even people within my like hiking industry go,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, the eagle."
Oh,
like
yeah.
they know, they know me as the
They
eagle.
know you that, yeah.
And it's just stuck. And
Yeah.
now I've got like a stuffed
Eagle.
mascot, which I
Uh-huh.
take like
Everywhere.
almost everywhere with me.
It's like Kez, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit like Kez, and he's always in all the photos. And this is how like.
Why the fuck have you got him with you?
No, he's on R&R. You've got,
And next time, mate, you've got to bring the eagle with you.
And
does he say much?
no, he just squawks a lot. and he's called Sergeant Squawk. That's.
I love this. I wasn't expecting this.
And I say to people like, don't fuck me off because I'll send Sergeant Squawk after you. And he takes no shit. And I did this like random thing where I said on Instagram, right, whoever wants the eagle, because to be honest with you, I got sick of carrying around in my rucksack because he's fucking
massive. Is it like full size eagle sort of size?
You could do with like, and I was like, right, if anyone wants to take him on their own adventures and tag him in the photos,
Yeah.
you can fucking have him, sort of
Perfect.
thing. So a woman gets in touch with me and she's like, I'm going travelling around the world. Can I take him with me? And I was like, yeah.
You're right. Okay.
All of a sudden, he's at fucking Ayers Rock in the Sydney Opera House, and I'm like,
Shit.
she's taking me in the photo. I was like, for Sergeant Squawk. I was like, for like the month of
He's got a
October.
bigger Instagram than you.
and he's fucking off he's with Dan Brazil. I was like, he's got fucking, he's on.
There's women with
Yeah, he's women with him, and
him.
he's fucking people are starting campaigns. And I was like, well, this is growing legs.
Wow.
And he's like, people were like, where's Sergeant Squawk at? I'm like, just so we know, it's actually a stuffed toy. It's not actually real. It's not actually real. And like when I take him on adventures now, like I'll bring him out, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's Sergeant Squawk." And
That's
like,
brilliant. And then just a chance thing that's come
just
up.
a chance thing, and it's like
That's some funny shit.
And like obviously, I'll plug my own podcast. It's called the Eagle Podcast.
Yeah.
And it has become like my animal, my bird. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and that's when I say that I've got this thing about like. I always say eagles don't fly with ducks. And
Yeah.
Don't be a duck. Don't sit on the pond and eat bread and talk shit.
Yeah.
Come fly with the big boys.
I
Do you know
like
what
it.
I mean?
I like it.
And I say to people, you know, how would an eagle approach this problem? Would he be whinging about his feet being sore? Or would he be like, no, I'm a fucking eagle.
Yeah.
Let's get on with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, but to be fair, there's been times where it's like, you know, you play this character, and then the moment you show any sort of like weakness, people are like, oh, yeah. So I can never, ever, even though there's times I've been hanging out thinking, you can't let it go now because, you know, the whole
That's brilliant.
the whole world's watching. So yeah, the whole thing of the eagle, and that's how I'm known now.
So in 4 years, I mean, from where you went, you know, from starting off, you know, from that chance conversation, and going, yeah, I'll go on it, and
Yeah.
and look where you are. I mean,
Yeah.
would you have dreamt that 4 years ago?
Nah, you don't know where you're gonna go, and the only thing I'd say to people is you've just got to say yes.
Yeah, Listen, you got to just try things. I mean, you just got to do it. Take yourself outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, although that was in a weird way, you took yourself outside your comfort zone to get back into your comfort zone, didn't you? But
yeah,
what a great story! What an absolutely great story.
Yeah, and it's only sort of, I think I'm only in chapter 1.
I think I'll listen. I mean, from what we've spoken a little bit more than the show, and I definitely we want to be organising coming 100%. up and getting on not a walk, as you don't do walks, but an adventure. I'd like to push myself. I've got to get back in the gym. I had a whole year out of the gym, out of the gym, which is bad. But yeah, definitely want to be organising that. Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, let's do
it. Which I haven't done yet, and I have to explain this just in case anybody doesn't know. But we've got it's the red box, and on the black cards on Cards Against Humanity, you've got questions or phrases with 1 or 2 spaces in it. So give that a little bit of a shuffle, I suppose, and then you've got a pack of white cards here. So the black cards have got the space, and the white cards have got a phrase or a word, and you can fill in the gaps. Or answer the question. So you take whichever one you want, and then just choose a white card there. Joel, are you going to do this?
Yeah, why not?
Joel, producing today. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Take the black cards.
This is going to be.
Is it a good one?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's a good one.
Is it? I like this. Good. Because these haven't been as interesting as I thought they were going to be. But, we're early days. And Cards Against Humanity, if you'd like to send us a couple of packs, we'll happily stick your name all over Essex Business Radio. Talking about Essex Business Radio and your podcast, and we mentioned this beforehand. Do you fancy getting it on Essex Business Radio? Fancy getting your podcast on there? Yeah, 100%. Let's sort that out. I think it'll be quite interesting. I'm going to be listening to some of your shows now, and I'm going to come on yours.
Yeah, 100%. Your net worth is your network.
I say that a lot. Absolutely. And it is, and this is a really good way of growing your network as well. 100%. People that you'd never have come across, people you wouldn't have spoken to, and people that wouldn't, you'd never have listened to you and found out about you as well. So I've got 2 spaces. So let's.
I sort of say to people, I'm the alliest man you've never heard of. An ally is a military term for someone who's like, a bit Arnie. Yeah. A bit like, ooh, lads.
Yeah. So come on. Tell us what you got on your Cards Against Humanity. What's what you've got?
Give the name away.
So Cards Against.
I've just got the one.
Oh, you got the black. Where's the black card?
Oh no, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, yes, you've got to get this. So that's got to get. So you've got to then fill that.
Right, so
Does that work?
Right, okay.
Okay,
so I've got to say the black first.
So read the black one, and then read it with. Is it a gap? Is it a question? What have you got?
Right, so I've got. I went from.
Yeah, and then you fill there. So read the whole of the black one out.
Right, so I went from
space.
Yeah. To space.
Yeah.
All thanks to space.
Oh, so you've got three of them. So you need to pick another 2 white cards.
Okay.
Ah. So, yeah, I didn't tell you the rules.
No, it's all right. Oh my god.
Oh no, really? Is it that good? Is it good?
Yeah. Oh.
Is it? Oh no, really? Is it politically okay?
No.
Are we going to do it anyway?
We're going to do it anyway.
Fuck it, we're going to do it anyway.
Because the cards have rolled and the cards have rolled.
I love that. We're going to do this anyway. I like that. Yeah. Go on then. So go on then. So you can read it all out then with however order you think the white one's going to work. Now you can look at the best order now. Right, I've never had a three space one before.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I've had a 3-way.
Jesus.
That's a whole other show.
Right, here we go. So, I went from Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
To the mixing of races.
Yeah.
All thanks to big black dicks. And that's how the cards rolled.
That is perfect. That is perfect. I love that.
I might as well not even say this now.
How is it we've had big black cock and big black dicks in this? But that's it. I don't know what that says about the show, to be honest.
Yeah. That is a killer. And that
Don Joel, is your mic on, Joel?
It is, yeah. Right. This is nothing compared to that.
Isn't it? No, I don't think anything's ever going to be like that, to be honest. That's perfect.
I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, go.
The secret to a lasting marriage is communication, and mad, hacky sack skills.
It's still a good one.
Okay, so I've got, after months of practice with space, I think I'm finally ready for space. So after months of practice with existing, I think I'm finally ready for sudden poop explosion disease.
Wow.
There's some pretty good ones there.
That's
That was pretty
against
good ones there.
humanity.
Yeah.
No, good.
It's much better with alcohol, but you don't drink. You don't drink anymore, do you? You were saying you don't drink anymore.
No.
After a night that we won't go into.
Yeah, no.
It's an interesting evening.
Yeah. The Valley of the Blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Listen, it's been. I've learned a lot, and I think we've got another couple of podcasts in this at least, don't you? I think we've want to learn a bit more and want to know more about your business. So you're going to come back and do another one?
100%.
So next time you come down, so it's the new year, and moving on from February afterwards, we're going to be doing. You don't drink, so I'm going to do prosecco and shots. You can have tea and biscuits.
I've still got my coffee habit, so
You want a coffee?
I'll get on the lattes.
We're getting a strong coffee shot.
It's gonna be good.
So thanks very much for joining us, the Eagle.
Thanks very much.
As you are known, and we bring the Eagle along next time. Bring
Sergeant Squawk.
Sergeant Squawk.
Yeah,
we want to meet Sergeant Squawk. I'm interested, and I'm going to check him out in his travels as well.
Yeah, he's big in the game.
So where's anybody find you, John? The Eagle, John.
Where
do they find you?
Instagram, Robust Tours.
Yeah.
There isn't another Robust Tours.
Okay.
Facebook, the same.
Yeah.
For the professionals out there, LinkedIn, John Beamson.
Yeah.
And the website, robusttours.co.uk.
Yeah.
And any of them platforms, you'll get hold of me.
And most of your adventures are around what area?
So Robust Tours is bigger than me.
Yeah.
So I offer events all over the UK.
Okay.
And I use staff, but the only difference with that is every single member of the staff who leads for me.
Yeah.
I've been out with.
Okay.
And I make sure that they're of the same ilk.
Okay.
So I'll never have anyone leading for me who I don't believe is on brand.
Yeah.
And I say that a lot. I say that word on brand a lot, and it's important. Because
you listen. It is you. I mean, you've created it, so they've got it. So we do the same here. You've got to, haven't you? You're the face of it, but everybody else has also got to be on the same page, haven't they?
Yeah. So all across the UK, the Lakes, North Wales, South Wales, Scotland, North Yorkshire Moors, North Yorkshire Dales, Yorkshire Three Peaks. If you want to do stuff tasty, then welcome to Tasty.
Yeah, I like it. So we've got climbing, not walking, adventures.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to mention the word walking ever again now, to be honest.
No, definitely not walking. So I love scrambling. So scrambling is sort of the crossover between hiking and climbing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love scrambling, and I created an event and a series of events called Midnight Madness.
Okay.
Where we do all the tasty scrambles. But at night on head torches, just to add a little bit more spice.
Yeah.
Because any day anyone can go out in the daytime.
Yeah.
But only vampires and werewolves go out at night.
I like that. Look, next time we'll have a chat about more about the business, some of the adventures you've had and stuff like that. But some corporate events. I mean, you do sort of teams up to how many?
It can be accommodated. Doesn't matter how big the team is.
What's the sort of smallest teams that you tend to work with? I know you sort of, but what do you tend to like to work with? Sort of teams of what sort of size?
So depending on the event, it's the event that dictates the numbers.
So go to your website, check out the events, and check out
everything.
Media.
Everything's there, and if you get in touch with me and you've got a team, 4 up to 34, 50. Something can always be done. And there can always be a way around any sort of problem. There's always a solution to it.
So we need to be organising something for later in the year, and we're going to GoPro it, and then we'll do it as a series. We'll get it on YouTube when we get the channel is literally just going live very soon. Actually, in fact, if people are watching this, they'll all be watching it from the channel. But,
amazing.
But no, thanks very much for coming in, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Hey, it's been great coming down, and it just shows anyone who's thinking about starting something, just stop thinking about starting it and start it.
Just do it
and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
The Eagle. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Thank you, Joel, for today. And look, anybody that if you want to know any more, obviously you can check those out. There'll be some links around this somewhere. If you're watching from a video, you're going to see me pointing the camera. But otherwise, around the podcast here or on the app. If you want to know any more, then go to our social media, Essex Business Radio on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks very much, John.
Cheers. Thanks for
having us. Very soon.
Cheers.
Everybody else, ciao for now.
You've been listening to Essex Business Radio with your host, Elliot Browne.